Hey Eva, welcome to the MasterCard Cup. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll let that play on through. We'll put you back in your dress position, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you back here in your dress position, let's first of all take a look at your posture, which looks really good. Your spine's nice and straight and on a nice tilt. Your legs come down into a nicely unlocked position. Your arms hang down nice and naturally off your tilted spine, and the golf club works out to the golf ball. So you're achieving really good posture here in association with good balance as well. It looks excellent. Let's also go ahead and take a look at your alignment. We can see your feet running in this direction. Carry that out towards the fairway. Theoretically, your club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet, and parallel lines on camera will have an appearance to converge. And with that philosophy in mind, you're set up right down the center of the fairway, so that's also fantastic. Let's go ahead and do a little split screen comparison here between you and Chela Choi. I've got some color-coded lines up on the screen just to use as a visual reference as it pertains to swing plane. And what we'll do is we'll watch Chela initiate her takeaway, whereby she's going to create good shoulder rotation. She's going to draw her arms and hands back as well as the club. And we're going to want to see the golf club come back directly along the red line, which means the club is coming back on proper swing plane and is swinging back on a nice natural arc where the club head's moving slightly, gradually inside the golf ball. Also in the early stages of the golf swing, we have to create some good wrist hinge into play, which means we're going to transition the club head currently from below and in front of our hands to getting that golf club above and behind our hands. Very important move in the golf swing. From here, we're going to work the club now from red up towards the blue-yellow V zone. When we set the club at the top, we either want to have the left arm of the golf club situated on the yellow line, anywhere within the blue-yellow V zone, and maybe as high as the blue line. We can see with Chela Choi, she sets her left arm on the yellow line with the club shaft and the club head within the blue-yellow V zone, but with that club shaft and club head a little closer to yellow than to blue. We also have created full shoulder rotation. We've done this about a very stable right leg, and we've also done this about our posture, our spinal axis that we achieved at address. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark her spine right now. Her spine's basically set at approximately, in her case, around, let's say, 62 degrees or so. I want you to notice in her address position, her spine is in the exact same position. So when she rotates off of this axis. So that's the importance of setting the posture to begin with, which you have. But I'm pointing this out because when we take a look at your golf swing, there's something I want you to understand about your spinal axis and then your shoulders. Because what happens is when we're rotating our shoulders based on that axis, the shoulders are really basically turning at about 90 degrees to that spinal position. So when we rotate, our left shoulder at the top of the backswing is going to be very low, and our right shoulder is going to be high. In your case, when you initiate your takeaway here, what we see is you draw your hands back beautifully. They do move a little bit outside, but nothing major at all. But as you're bringing your hands back and you're rotating, you're standing up out of your golf shot. So your spine is coming up, and effectively that's causing your head to come up. Now you're doing a great job with your hinge. You've got the club head above and behind your hands, so the club's working beautifully. But the problem is we just continue to stand up out of our spinal position and fold that right arm, and now the right elbow is very, very low, so the club shaft is also going to lay off. So as we continue to work this golf club up to the top of the backswing, the problem is the arms are not in the right position. The club shaft is laid off too far to the left, and we've stood up out of our golf shot. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark your spine right now, and it's basically set at about 68 degrees. I'm going to bring this back down to address, and what we're going to notice is we're going to notice that that angle is much greater. So at this point in time we can see that your spinal axis when you started was at 50. So when you rotate, the problem is you're rotating, standing up from red to yellow. That means your left shoulder is going to come up and basically hit you in the chin almost, and you're going to have a difficult time seeing the golf ball. Not to mention that the arms, unfortunately, are a little bit out of position here. Okay? At this point in time, as we create our transition back into the golf shot, with Chela Choi, we simply want to move our weight from our right foot to our left, fire our knees and our hips laterally to the target, unwind our core and fire our hands. Oh, and in doing so, sorry, I had you moving there. Let's bring you back to, because actually I don't think you were done your golf swing, but we'll leave you there. With Chela Choi, we want that golf club now with her feet, knees, and hips fire into the target, unwinding the core and fire in the hands. We want to make sure that we're bringing that golf club from yellow back down on top of red. And that's exactly what we see here with Chela Choi. We can see the golf club has returned back to being on plane. The other thing we want to observe at this stage of the golf swing is the relationship between the lead forearm and the golf club. I refer to this as the backwards check mark. It simply means that her club head is remaining above and behind her hands coming into the hitting zone, and this is what's going to allow her to create a lot of power in her golf swing, aside from her ability to hit the ball straight due to the fact that the club has returned back to plane, which is a main criteria in order to produce straight golf shots. Now before I move on here, I want to point something out. Let's go back down to address for a second. When we bring the golf club back, when we turn and create our wrist hinge, I want you to note that she gets the golf club and her left arm pretty much in the exact same position here that she achieves at pre-impact. So see how her left forearm, actually I'll probably bring that back a frame, see how her left forearm and the golf club are in the exact same position? So now we get the club to the top and then we just return it right back into that position. And this is the most important part of a golf swing in order to produce maximum power and to be able to hit the ball straight. So let's go ahead and watch you create your transition of the ball. I don't think we were done your backswing here, so your backswing it runs on a little further. The club sort of, swings a little bit beyond your back. Arms are a little bit compressed to the body. From here we start your downswing. So good motion here, nice and athletic. You're moving from right foot to left foot. Your knees are going. You're dropping your hands and arms. So this looks really good. Now you're diving back into your spinal position that you started in. And at this point in time, what we can take a look at is we can take a look at the relationship between the lead forearm and the golf club. I mean, you've got your backwards check mark, right? The club head's above and behind your hands. The only problem is the golf club is not returning back to plane, as we can see here with Chela Choi. So your club ultimately is coming back into the ball too steep. So your club shaft right now is coming into the ball at approximately, let's say, 59 degrees, when the club shaft should be much more shallowed off and angled off over to here at about 35. And again, that would then be the exact same position we want when we hopefully took the golf club back and sort of hit that position. And notice that would be the exact same position that we would have with Chela Choi, but we're not achieving it. So as we keep coming into the golf ball, this club head right here is going to fall out in front of your hand. So let's go to the next frame. We can see the golf club right here. Now the club goes to the next frame, it falls further out in front, right here. So unfortunately, if we sort of just connect the dots here, let me do this in a different color so it's a little easier to see. If we just sort of connect the dots, the club came from here, fell to here, and just keeps falling further out in front. And because of that over the top move, the club is ultimately coming into the ball too steep, and that's going to influence your swing path. And your swing path is unfortunately going to be outside to inside. Whereas with Chela Choi, again, we noticed her club returned to here, and then it just tracks into the golf ball directly from the red line. And again, as I stated earlier, this is what produces straight golf shots based on our alignment, assuming that the club face squares up via having a good grip. So seeing that the downswing planes are vastly different with these red lines, your red lines are not returning back to the red address plane, hers is. So again, she's going to hit the ball straight based on her alignment, assuming that club face squares up via having a good grip. Your club's coming in steep, therefore it's attacking the ball on a completely different swing path. So let me show you what I mean by that. Her club is inside the ball before she strikes it. The club expands out to make contact, moves through in a nice natural subtle arc. your club is attacking the ball from the outside, moving down and across. Look at how it's moving. So if you square the club face up to that swing path, you'll hit the ball nice and solid. The only problem, it's going in that direction. So you're going to pull the ball somewhere over to the left. Now you hit it solid, it'll go the farthest, but it's going left. If you over-release the club to that same path, not only do we pull the ball, but now we're going to hit some form of a pull draw or pull hook. I gather that probably doesn't happen very often to you because your tendency is probably subconsciously going to be to leave the face open with this red path. So what happens is when you hit the ball well, you'll start the ball a little right of that. By having the face open, you're imparting a little bit of left to right spin, and you'll hit what's known as just a soft little fade. And that shot will find the intended target. If we happen to leave the club face too open relative to the red path, the ball incredibly starts even further right, even though we're swinging to the left. At that stage, the club face was massively open. We're going to impart way too much left to right spin, and we're going to hit these block slices. So the end result of your golf shot is dictated based on the timing of the club face. Because the club is attacking from outside, striking the ball and moving to the inside and across, if we square the face up, it follows red. Over release the club, continues down the smaller red arrows. Leave the face wide open, follows blue. Time it properly, follows yellow, everything turns out. Now before we go ahead and actually take a look at your club face and where it was at impact, let's just pay attention to the right heel at impact here. Notice that her right heel's off the ground. Watch the continued activity through the golf swing here. So as she carries that momentum through, this right heel is going to keep coming off the ground. She's going to get up off her right heel. She's going to get up on her toe of her right foot. We're going to be able to count the spikes in her right shoe. And that's going to allow us to distribute our weight on our left side. The hips can therefore square around, and the shoulders can fully rotate with the hands high, and we get into a nice finish. Let's see what you do with your footwork here. So not bad. Need to improve that a little bit. So you want to come up off your right heel. You want to get up on your toe a little bit more. But in general, you're carrying yourself through to a really nice finishing position. Looks really, really good. Now I do want to back this up again to impact. I want to take a look at your club face with your out to in path. Yeah, club face is really open. So you're going to block that ball to the right. It's going to have left to right spin because obviously we're swinging from out to in, swinging across your body. In order to start the ball right with you swinging left, the face has to be wide open. So that ball is heading to the right. We can see it right here. And it's just going to continue to go further right because the ball has left to right spin. Now we might not be able to pick it back up again, but that's obviously what's occurring. Overall, I mean, you have some really nice athletic characteristics with your golf swing. Your hands come back and you fire your hands through. It looks great. You get a little bit of turn and you uncoil through. So we definitely could use more rotation in your shoulders, bringing the golf club back. You have nice alignment, excellent posture, beautiful balance. So everything's looking really, really good. But with your backswing is putting you in a position that's making it very difficult to come into the golf ball. So we do have to improve your backswing where we don't stand up. We got to learn how to rotate. We have to learn how to rotate our shoulders more, but we need to learn how to rotate the left shoulder down and under, not up. Once we get this left shoulder working down and under with a little bit more turn, we need to fine-tune where the arms are at the top of the backswing a little, which will allow us to improve our downswing. And that's really the ultimate goal, is making sure when we come into the golf ball that we don't come into the golf ball from over the top, which we're going to watch right here again. You're going to send your hands over the top. The club's going to come in steep, and the club's going to attack from out to in. We're swinging across our body, leaving the face wide open. And that's just going to create a lot of inconsistencies and wreak a lot of havoc on your left to right tendencies. Okay? Your golf swing's way better than the end result. But like I'm saying, this backswing has to improve where you're creating a better rotational movement off of a better axis where we're not standing up. Get the arms in a better position with more turn. Once we're in a better position at the top of the backswing, now there's a domino effect to the downswing, and it has to automatically improve. Now, whether it improves 20% or 50 or 70 or 90 is yet to be determined, but once we improve it, whatever that amount is, now we can get in here and really work on your downswing and making sure you understand how to bring the club into the ball from on plane. So you've got a lot of potential because, again, super athletic, but unfortunately you're just putting yourself in some geometric positions, dynamically speaking, that make it very difficult to hit the ball straight, produce any form of consistency. Okay? Anyways, at any point in time you ever want to work on any of these aspects, I'm located over at Glen Abbey in Oakville, obviously where the event was held. I'd be happy to structure a program for you. Also, if you're involved in any golf tournaments at all, you guys are looking for a unique gift to provide your guests, feel free to reach out. Be happy to discuss my swing analysis services. Anyways, I hope you had a fabulous day, and I hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video. Take care.